if somebody hasn't heard of F-Droid before? How do you kind of break that down?
The big, the major difference is that F-Droid is a non-commercial app store. Wouldn't even really call it a store because we don't sell anything. There's no registration. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to enter your email address. There's no personal information you provide. It's really just, an app that you can use to browse vetted free and open source applications. If you sort of look at it in the simplest way, an app store is really just an app that installs app. It lets you browse and search and update and things like that, but it's really just an app that installs other applications. And so F-Droid essentially takes out the commercial aspect of the App Store and puts in a requirement that all applications be free and open source, meaning that 100% of the source code needed to build that application is publicly available. And that's really the vetting that we provide, is that we offer trustworthiness because the app can't sort of hide what it's doing. It can't hide any of its features or misfeatures. And so people really like to use F-Droid for a lot of different reasons, but one major reason is for a concern over privacy and surveillance. You're pretty much guaranteed that none of these apps are embedding any of these sort of telemetry, spyware kind of libraries that are tracking what you're doing and then uploading this information to, third-party data brokers and things like that. You really know you can trust what you get from an app store like F-Droid. And the fact that we don't have any commercial incentive to, support things like in-app purchases, upselling, advertisements, and things like that means that when you see that an app is advertising itself as free, it really is free. It's not some marketing ploy to trick you into, upselling or, a free-to-play game where you have to buy gems or something like that.
Yeah, and one of the things that might come to mind, and this is, I know, still an ongoing debate because we hear it from Apple, we hear it from Google, is that they are keeping us safe and secure because they are going through and, any app developer, let's say they want to install malware on their audience's devices, they're going to upload a malicious version of the app. And naturally, Apple and Google, if they're doing their job correctly, will catch that and prevent it from happening. So what kind of safety assurances can you offer through F-Droid, and how's your approach different from that?
Yeah, well, it is fundamentally different. On one hand, we have it a lot easier because we have a prerequisite in the F-Droid inclusion policies that it be 100% open source. It's pretty easy to spot when an app is trying to do something bad, either like undermining the security of your operating system or, acting as, scamware or something, like trying to intercept your banking credentials, or just, clandestinely surveilling you and uploading that information without your consent. It's a lot easier for us to identify those scenarios than it is for Apple and Google, which don't have any requirement that you reveal the source code of the applications you're uploading. And furthermore, even the developers who are creating the applications that they submit to the Apple, App Store and the Google Play Store, they themselves don't always know everything that's going into their applications because very often they're using third-party libraries that purport to be providing, useful services. And really what it's doing is it's, gathering telemetry on the user, uploading it to this, third-party service so that they can profit from it either immediately or down the road when they can resell your data. So we really have it a lot easier than they do in order to provide these sort of security assurances, these security guarantees. But furthermore, we're not conflicted in what we identify as being malware versus not malware. There are plenty of people that identify any form of advertising, any form of telemetry as a sort of malware. But obviously, these are the things that these first-party platform providers themselves profit from. Or say in-app purchases, where you have this sort of casino mentality where, you pay to win, you pay to get, gems, these gotcha games and things like that. They're all skimming a cut off of it. So they are disincentivized from even considering that that might be a form of malware, whereas we don't have that commercial conflict of interest. And so we can just across the board say that these things are not suitable for our particular marketplace.